Shapes. Shapes can be seen everywhere. Everything you see has shape. In this life, shapes revolves around us. When you look at something, you see various shapes that sometimes we don't even notice. When we draw, the first thing we do is to make a foundation. We draw a circle for the head, a triangle for the nose, and many more. But have you thought about studying those shapes? For example, this handbag. Its foundation shape is trapezoid. Do you know its properties? In this video, you will learn about the properties of a trapezoid and a kite. In this video, we will be talking about kites and trapezoids. But first, let us differentiate between an isosceles trapezoid and a trapezoid. A trapezoid has only one pair of parallel sides. An isosceles trapezoid has one pair of parallel sides and has a congruent non-parallel side, which are the legs. Now let us focus on the properties of an isosceles trapezoid. First, let us make a picture. This is an isosceles trapezoid. We will call this A, B, C, and D. First, the legs are congruent. That means line AB is congruent to line CD. Next, the bases are parallel. That means that line BC is parallel to line AD. Next, the top angles are congruent. That means that angle B is congruent to angle C. Next, the bottom angles of the bases are congruent. That means angle A is congruent to angle D. Now let us focus on the diagonals. The diagonals are congruent. That means line AC is congruent to line BD. Now, we can say that angle A and angle B put together is equals to 180. That means this is supplementary. We can say that angle A plus angle B is equals to 180. Same goes for angle C and D. They are supplementary. If we add them together, it's 180. So that means angle C plus angle D equals to 180. Now, since we are working with a quadrilateral shape, that means that all the all the four angles put together is equals to 360 degrees. That means angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D is equals to 360. Now that is the properties of an isosceles trapezoid. Now let us talk about the properties of a trapezoid. Let's take a picture. Let's call this A, B, C, and D. In a trapezoid, the difference between a isosceles trapezoid is that these legs are not congruent in a trapezoid, but the bases are parallel, same as the isosceles. But in the trapezoid, these are the only ones that are parallel. These are not congruent. The legs are not congruent. That means line BC is parallel to line AD. Next, the angles of B and A, if we add them together, it's it's 180. That means angle A and angle B is supplementary. We can write that as angle A plus angle B is equals to 180. Same goes for the angle C and angle D. They are supplementary. If we add them to each other, it will be equal to 180. We can write that as angle C plus angle D is equals to 180. Now, since we are working with a quadrilateral or a four-sided shape, that means if we add all the angles together, it will be equals to 360. We can write that as angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D is equals to 360. Now let us practice. In this trapezoid, A, B, C, and D. Angle B is equals to 86. Angle C is equals to 124. And angle A is equals to nothing. And angle D is equals to nothing. And those angles, we will be finding them. In this problem, we will be solving for A and D. Now, we all know that angle A and angle B, if we add them to each other, it will be equals to 180. Same goes that if we write angle A plus angle B, which is 86, is equals to 180. Now, we can simply solve for angle A with this equation. Basically, all you have to do is minus 86, or you transpose 86 into here. This will cancel, and 180 minus 86 is equals to 94. So you have the remaining A, bring that down, is equals to 180 minus 86 is equals to 94. Now, we all know that angle A is 94. Now, let us solve for angle D. Angle D. So, the same goes for angle A and B. If you add them together, it will be 180. Same goes for angle C and angle D. If we add them together, it will be equals to 180. So we can also write that as angle C, which is 124, plus angle D, which is nothing. So we will be writing as angle D. And then if you add them together, it will be equals to 180. Now all we have to do is transpose 124 to the other side. So angle D will be lonely. So let's minus 124. Also this side. This will cancel. And angle D will be all left. So let us bring that down. Angle D is equals to 180 minus 124. That will be equals to 56. Now, we all know that angle D is equals to 56. Now, let us check if we are correct. We have 86, angle B as 86. We have angle C as 124, and angle A as 94, and angle D as 56. Now, let us practice on isosceles trapezoids. In an isosceles trapezoid, A, B, C, and D, line AC is equals to 5x plus 4. Line BD is equals to 8x minus 8. Now, in this problem, we'll be finding the value of AC. Now, line AC, we cannot see it, but we can just show it. And line BD is a diagonal. So, we all know in the properties of an isosceles trapezoid that the diagonals are congruent. That means AC, line AC is congruent to line BD. So if we substitute line AC to its value in here and line BD to its value in the given here, we will have this 5x plus 4 is equals to line BD 8x minus 8. Now we have a simple equation. All we have to do is to solve for value of x. Now let us uh, solve. Negative 5x plus 5x will cancel. Then plus 8. This will cancel. Then we also plus 8 here. This will leave us with, so I forgot. We will also minus 5x into this other side. So positive 8x minus negative 5x equals to 3x. Bring down the equals. 8 plus 4 is equals to 12. Now we are going to make the x lonely, so we will divide 3 to both sides. This will equals to x, cancel. This will equals to x equals 12 divided by 3 is equals to 4. So we all know that x is equals to 4. Now, since we know that x is equals to 4, we can solve for line AC. All we have to do is substitute x to the x, which is 4. We'll substitute x here. So let's do that. 5. We'll substitute x with 4 plus 4. 5 times 4 is equals to 20 plus 4 equals to 24. Now we all know that the value of line AC is equals to 24. Let us solve for BD as well, since we already have x. 8 times x equals to 4 minus 8. 8 times 4 is equals to 8, 16, 24, 32. 32 minus 8 is equals to 24. So already we can see that we are right because line AC is congruent to line BD. Line AC is equals to 24 when we solve for this. When we solve for line AC. And when we solve line BD, we also got the same answer as line AC. So we all know that we are correct. Now let us move on to the properties of a kite. Let's call this A, B, C, and D. Now the first thing you need to know that this angle B and angle D is congruent. That means we can write that angle B is congruent to angle D. Next, line BC and line DC is congruent. That means line BC is congruent to line DC. Next, line AB and line AD is congruent. That means that line AB is congruent to line AD. Now, next, let us focus on the diagonals. Now, when we form a diagonal in the middle on the bisector, it builds up a 90 degrees. And that means it builds 90 degrees here, here, and here. That means it's perpendicular. So we can write that as line AC is perpendicular to line BD. It's also a bisector, so we can write that as perpendicular bisector to line BD. One thing that you should know in a kite is that if you add all angles together, like A, B, C, if you add all of those angles together, angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D, it will be equals to 360. So that's one thing that you should be keep in mind for. Now let's work on examples that include kites. Let's call this A, B, C, and angle A is equals to 40 degrees. Angle B is equals to, we'll find that. Angle C is equals to, you'll find that as well. And angle D is equals to 125. Now in this problem, we will be finding the angle B and C. So in the properties of a kite, we all know that angle D and angle B is congruent. So that means angle B is equals to 125 because angle B and angle D is congruent to each other, and angle D is equals to 125. So that means angle B is also equals to 125. Now, in a kite, it's a quadrilateral shape. So if we add all angles together, it will be equals to 360. In solving for angle C, this will help us to find the angle C if we use this property. So angle A is 40. So if I add that with 125 plus C, which is nothing, so we'll be just writing as plus C, and then plus 125 is equals to 360. Now let us add 40, 125, and 125. So that will be equals to uh, 290. 290 plus angle C is equals to 360. Now let us solve for angle C. So 290, this will cancel. So angle C will all be left. So that will be equals to 360 minus 290. That will be equals to 70. Now we have found angle C, which therefore answers our problem. It is wise to study even the basic things life has to offer for us. With the knowledge we find, we can create complex ideas from simple things as building blocks, like math, from adding, subtracting, to equations to PEMDAS, to fractions to variables, till it comes to algebra. Everything comes from something. Even Aliyah mode has a great story.